Okay, we'll just begin. So imagine that you're surrounded by living beings, and to your left is your mother and the lineage of women that contributed to your existence. And to your right is your father and the lineage of men that contributed to existence. And stretching back behind you is the continuity of your lives. And before you are the so-called enemies, the people that you have difficulty with or challenges with. Behind you are the people for whom you feel clinging, neurotic kind of clinging. And then in this, all the spaces between are every other living being that we sometimes don't consider their interests or don't even know that they're there, don't even recognize that they're there. And you take a stance. I'm going to guide all these beings in this practice. So I'm going to take responsibility to help them in this way. And you imagine in the space in front of you are Buddhas and Bodhisattvas seated on thrones and engaging in the activities of spiritual practice, or what we'd say the Dharma in our tradition. So the activities of the Dharma. They might be teaching or meditating or just helping others in different ways. And you develop a healthy, productive sense of fear. If I don't change my negative habits of body, speech, and mind, then I will suffer without end. But worse, other beings will suffer too. Either I will cause them direct harm, it means that they'll be suffering for that much longer. And then these beings visualized, they represent spiritual ideals. So by definition, they understand reality as it is. They understand that things arise independent upon causes and conditions. They have a compassion that doesn't discriminate between its objects, so has equal compassion for all beings. Whether that being has hurt you or harmed you or has been neutral, has the same, by definition, these beings have the same compassion. And so they have the knowledge that we want. They have the experience we want to have. They possess the qualities we want to have. And so they're a good source of refuge. There's something in which we can put our trust or our faith or in these figures and what they represent. And so with that mind, we can do the refuge prayer. Sangye chodan sogi chonam chanchu bardu dani gyabzo chi dagi janzo gibe sonam ki jola benju sangye chupasho. Sangye chodan sogi chonam chanchu bardu dani gyabzo chi dagi janzo gibe sonam ki jola benju sangye chupasho. So the translation, so I go for refuge until I am enlightened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly by the virtue accumulated by actions of generosity and the other perfections. May I become a Buddha to benefit migrating beings. And then we develop a sense of regret for those actions of body, speech, and mind that bring ourselves suffering. And perhaps more importantly in this tradition, bring suffering to other living beings. Because either we harm them directly or we delay our own spiritual progress. And so they remain in suffering that much longer. So we can think about the 10 non-virtuous actions, which is a traditional collection of unhelpful actions. So we kill others when we steal, and we misuse our sexuality, and we lie, and we use our speech harshly, and we use divisive speech, and we gossip, we waste our speech, and we have ill will or malice towards others. We covet what others have, and we have an ignorant view of reality. We misunderstand reality. So all these things harm others, they harm ourselves. So we develop a sense of regret, which is the most useful part of this practice, or maybe some could argue is the most powerful part of this practice. So I wish I hadn't done that without the moral overlay. So you're not, you can regret what happened because you understand its natural consequence. Not feel guilty because you're some sort of bad person who hasn't followed some sort of random rule. So you understand its natural consequence. So you wish you hadn't done it. So we can think about that. that mind, we do the remedy. So the remedial action, the remedy. Visualize. Above the crown of your head, seated upon a lotus and moon seat, are Vajrasattva father and mother. Their bodies are white. Each has one face and two arms. He holds a Dorjian bell, she a curved knife and skull cup. They are embracing each other. The father is adorned with 6 mudras, the mother with 5. He sits in the Vajra posture, and she in the lotus. Vajrasattva is your guru, the holy mind of all the Buddhas, the Dharmakaya, who out of unbearable compassion embraces you and all other sentient beings and appears in this form to purify yourself and all others. On a moon disk at Vajrasattva's heart stands a hum, encircled by a garland of the 100-syllable mantra. A powerful stream of white nectar flows from the hum and garland, mantra garland, and you are cleansed of all sickness, spirit harm, negative karma, and obscurations. So with that visualization, then we do the mantra. Vajrasattva SAMAYA MANUPALAYA Vajrasattva DENOPHA SUTO ANURAKTO SARVA KURU TATHAGATA VAJRA MAME MUNTSA VAJRA MANUPALAYA Vajrasattva DENOPHA SUTO ANURAKTO Om Vajrasattva SAMAYA MANUPALAYA Vajrasattva DENOPHA SUTO ANURAKTO SIDDHI KURU BHAGAVAN TATHAGATA VAJRA MAME MUNTSA VAJRA Om Vajrasattva SAMAYA MANUPALAYA Vajrasattva DENOPHA SUTO ANURAKTO SIDDHI KURU BHAGAVAN TATHAGATA VAJRA MAME MUNTSA Om Vajrasattva SAMAYA MANUPALAYA Vajrasattva DENOPHA ANURAKTO Zarizini Mabaya Zaragama Suzume, Sidin Guruhum, Bhagavan, Zarizatagata, Vajamami Mazavajava, Mazamazava, Umbe, Vajazavazamaya, Manupalaya, Vajazavadino Badida, Jino Mabava, Suzagaya Mabava, Subagaya Mabava, Anuracto Mabava, Zarizini Mabaya Zaragama Suzume, Sidin Guruhum, Bhagavan, Zarizatagata, Vajamami Maza, Vajabava Mazamazava, Umbe, Vajazavazamaya, Manupalaya, Vajazavadino Badida, Jino Mabava, Suzagaya Mabava, Subagaya Mabava, Anuracto Mabava, Sarazini maybe as a Zarkama to me, Sitin Kuruhum, Bhagavan, Saratagata Vajamami Muzavajabava, Mazamazava, Majazava Zamaya, Manubaya, Vajazavadinova Dida, Jinameva, Zatagaya Meva, Subagaya Meva, and Rectumeva. Sarazini maybe as a Zarkama to me, Sitin Kuruhum, Bhagavan, Saratagata. Vajamami Mazavajabava, Mazamazava, Majazava Zamaya, Manupalaya, Vajazavadino Badida, Jinameva, Zatagaya Meva, Subagaya Meva, and Rectumeva. So, Zini maybe as a Zarkama Suzume, Sidin Guruhum, Bhagavan, Saratagata. Vajamami Mazavajabava, Mazamazava, Majazava Zamaya, Manupalaya, Vajazavadino Badida, Jinameva, Zutagaya Meva, Subagaya Meva, and Rectumeva. So, Zini maybe as a Zarkama Suzume, Sidin Guruhum, Bhagavan, Saratagata, Vajamami Mazavajabava, Mazamazava, Majazava Zamaya. Manupalaya, Vajazavadino Badida, Jinameva, Zutagaya Meva, Subagaya Meva, and Rectumeva. Sarazini maybe as a Sargama Suzume, Sidan Guru Hum, Ho Bhagavan, Savitagata Vajramami Mutsa, Vajrabhava Mahasumaya Sattva, Hum, Vajrasamaya Manupalaya, Vajrasattva Patita, Junamavoa, Zudagayamavoa, Zugayamavoa, Anuraktamavoa, Sarasini Payasa Sargama Suzume, Sidan Guru Hum, Ho Bhagavan, Savitagata Vajramami Mutsa, Vajrabhava Mahasumaya Sattva, Hum, Vajrasamaya Manupalaya, which is already not Dida, Junamavoa, Zugayamavoa, Zugayamavoa, Anuractamavoa. So Resilium maybe it's a Zarkama to me, Sitan Kuru, Bhagavan, Savitagata. Vajamami was a Vajabam, Hasmas of Umbe, which is a Zamaya, Manupalaya, which is already not Dida, Junamavoa, Zugayamavoa, Zugayamavoa, Anuractamavoa. So Resilium maybe it's a Zarkama to me, Sitan Kuru, Bhagavan, Savitagata. Vajamami was a Vajabam, Hasmas of Umbe. Om Vajrasattva Manupalaya Vajrasattva Patita Junamavoa Sudagayamavoa Subhagayamavoa Anuragdamavoa Sarasinamayapaya Sarkam Sitame Sinishin Kuruhum Ho Bhagavan Sarasatagata Vajramami Mazavajava Masamayasava Om Vajrasattva Manupalaya Vajrasattva Patita Junamavoa Sudagayamavoa Subhagayamavoa Anuragdamavoa Sarasinamayapaya Sarkam Sitame Sinishin Kuruhum Ho Bhagavan Sarasatagata Vajramami Mazavajava Masamayasava Om Vajrasattva Manupalaya Vajrasattva Patita Junamavoa Sudagayamavoa Subhagayamavoa Anuragdamavoa Sarasinamayapaya Sarkam Sitame Sinishin Kuruhum Ho Bhagavan Sarasatagata Vajramami Mazavajava Masamayasava Om Vajrasattva Manupalaya Vajrasattva Patita Junamavoa Sudagayamavoa Subhagayamavoa Anuragdamavoa Sarasinamayapaya Sarkam Sitame Sinishin Kuruhum Ho Bhagavan Sarasatagata Vajramami Mazavajava Masamayasava Om Vajrasattva Manupalaya Vajrasattva Patita Junamavoa Sudagayamavoa Subhagayamavoa Anuragdamavoa Sarasinamayapaya Sarkam Sitame Sinishin Kuruhum Ho Bhagavan Sarasatagata Vajramami Mazavajava Masamayasava Vajrasattva Manupalaya Vajrasattva Patita Junamavoa Sudagayamavoa Subhagayamavoa Anuragdamavoa Sarasinamayapaya Sarkam Sitame Sinishin Kuruhum Ho Bhagavan Sarasatagata Vajramami Mazavajava Masamayasava Vajrasattva Manupalaya Vajrasattva Patita Junamavoa Sudagayamavoa Subhagayamavoa Anuragdamavoa Sarasinamayapaya Sarkam Sitame Sinishin Kuruhum Ho Bhagavan Sarasatagata Vajramami Mazavajava Masamayasava Vajrasattva Homam Vajrasattva Homam Vajrasattva Homam Vajrasattva Vajrasattva Homam Vajrasattva Homam Vajrasattva. From the crown of your head, Guru Vajrasattva says, son or daughter of the race, your negativities, obscurations, and broken and damaged pledges have been completely purified. Think, before Guru Vajrasattva, I vow never again to commit those negative actions from which I can easily abstain. And not to commit for a day, an hour, or at least a few seconds those negative actions from which I find it difficult to abstain. Then you imagine Guru Vajrasattva, father and mother, completely accepts your pledge of to refrain, of refraint. And you imagine they dissolve into light, they descend through the crown of your head to the white Om, filling your body with white light, purifying all negative karma obscurations created by the body. And descends to the red Ah at your throat, sending out red light, purifying all negative karma and obscurations created with the speech. And then descends to the center of your chest where there's the blue Hum, which fills your body with blue light, purifies all negative, you imagine it purifies negative karma and obscurations created with the mind. And then you imagine white, red, blue light simultaneously from Om Hum, purifying all negative karma and obscurations created by speech and mind. And you imagine the light dissolves into the center of your chest, and you become completely inseparable from Guru Vajrasattva and Mother. So you imagine that there's no distinction between your body, speech, and mind and their, well, we would say their holy body, speech, and mind. So from their speech and mind and your speech and mind. Imagine that you and all those beings surrounding you arise in an idealized form, clear as crystal. Completely free of suffering. And you imagine, you rest in the knowledge, or you rest in the visualization that because all beings have been purified in this way, and because you've been purified in this way, that there's not any instance of suffering anywhere in the universe. And you think about all the people that contributed to this experience. So the people that set up this practice, people that have preserved the practice over hundreds of years, maybe thousands of years. People that set up the Zoom and the website, and you come and you carve some time out of your day to be here. So all you just acknowledge all this positive energy, if you will. Really celebrate, imagine if the whole world took 30 minutes to acknowledge how they harm themselves and others, and to work towards doing less of that. So it's very precious. And then you think the person who engaged in this activity, so yourselves, the action of engaging in this purification practice, the results of the purification practice, from an ultimate analysis, do not exist from their own side. They do not exist in the way they appear. And without analysis, they appear to exist intrinsically. And with analysis, we can see they don't exist inherently or from their own side or intrinsically. Instead, we acknowledge that things arise independent upon causes and conditions. Which means things can change. So with that awareness, then we can dedicate this merit to a greater purpose. I'll read out of the book because we're running out of time. Due to all the merits of the 3 times collected by me, Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, and all other sentient beings, which appear to be real from there, but which are empty of inherent existence, that's the implication, but which are empty of inherent existence. May the I, which appears to be real but is empty, achieve Guru Vajrasattva's enlightenment, which appears to be real but is empty, and lead all sentient beings who appear to be real but are totally empty to that enlightenment which appears to be real but is empty, by myself alone, which appears to be real but is also totally empty, non-existent from there. May the precious bodhicitta, the source of all happiness and success for myself and all other sentient beings, be generated within my own mind and in the minds of all sentient beings without even a second's delay. And may that which has been generated already be increased. May I and all other sentient beings have Lama Tsongkhapa as our direct guru in our lifetimes. Never be separated for even a second from the pure path that is greatly praised by the conqueror Buddhas, and actualize the complete path, the 3 principal paths, and the 2 stages of highest yoga tantra, the root of which is Guru devotion with our minds as quickly as possible. So when it says 3 principal paths, the path of renunciation, bodhicitta, and pure view on emptiness, and then the 2 stages of highest yoga tantra, which is the generation stage and the completion stage. So may those all be realized within our minds as quickly as possible. And may the root of all that, which is Guru devotion within our minds, be arise quickly as possible. Just as a brave Manjushri and Samanta Bhadra realize things as they are, I dedicate all these virtues in the best way that I may follow after them. Whatever dedication the 3-time victorious ones gone to bliss have admired as best, in the same way, I also perfectly dedicate all these roots of virtues so that I may perform good works. And then just taking a half of a second, a little second, to think about all the people we represent. So we know people's, suffer from various physical and mental illnesses or disorders or diseases or whatever word seems best. May they be completely free of all their suffering, have every kind of happiness. And all the people that have died, who are dying or found out they're dying, may they be, if they're able to be free from their illness, may they be instantly healed. But if they cannot be, then may they transition into the bardo without fear, and may they become enlightened there. And if that isn't possible, then may they be reborn quickly as humans, meet well-fed Mahayana teachers and friends, and become Buddhas as quickly as possible. This very moment. Okay. So my last week of doing Vajrasattva is next week. So it's been nice being with you all. So then when that happens, I'm going to take a break. And then I'm coming back to do a course in May it's the 3rd module of Discovering Buddhism. It will be in the evenings on Mondays, as far as I know, with a retreat that we'll figure out. So I will see you again, but not doing, but I'll see you next week. But after that, I'll have a little break and then I'll come back. So it was nice seeing you all. Thank you so much for coming consistently and doing your stuff.